What's going on, everyone? Happy Monday. Hopefully everyone is doing well, staying safe, healthy. If you had to take a COVID test, flu test, norovirus, RSV, or a test for some other virus, I hope you have tested negative. If you did test positive for any of the viruses, I hope you have a full and speedy recovery with no long COVID issues and no long-term issues. I'm hearing there's some mystery viruses out there that are not coming up positive on any of the tests. I've seen several different places where people are talking about this happening now, so I hope you get some answers soon. It is time now for the Monday edition of the Virus Update for Monday, February 10th, 2025. If you're new to my channel, welcome to my channel. This is where I do the daily virus update on all those viruses that can make us sick. Let me explain it to you in simple terms what we do here. When you watch the news, you get the daily news report, you get the weather, you get sports, maybe you get 30 seconds of health news in between. Guess what? You do not get a comprehensive report of what's going on with these viruses, and you need to know what's going on with these viruses that can make you sick because they can impact your health. Example, COVID can go on to become long COVID. I myself am a victim of long COVID. I do deal with different issues. I never had asthma before COVID, and I never had constant headaches before my second infection of COVID. Long COVID is real. There's over 200 different symptoms of it. Want to stay informed? Just subscribe down below. Give this video a thumbs up. Let's try for 250 like button hits today. Hit that notification bell. Share this video with anyone you know, and leave your comments down below. Alrighty. For a change, it is actually not a busy news day. I haven't been able to say that in a while, but there are several things that I do want to go over with for you today, which is first the news of the day, some data. We have to talk about last night. I think you know what happened last night. Last night was the Super Bowl, and in some areas I think it's becoming a super spreader, not just for COVID, just all the viruses in general. I think it's going to cause some elevations in the level of transmission. Then we're going to take a look at some daily data. We'll take a look at some CDC data, which includes maybe hospital capacity. We haven't had time to do that in a while because it's been oh so busy lately. And yes, we will take a look at some wastewater data as well from the CDC. We'll go region by region, taking a look at that map that shows the different colors of the levels. All right, starting off with this. In Nevada, I missed this yesterday. I didn't know this occurred on Saturday. I found it, and I reposted this on X, and I also posted a news story confirming it's real. A dairy worker in Nevada has tested positive for H5N1 bird flu, according to CNN. The case is awaiting confirmation from the CDC. It would be the first human case in Nevada. Now, I haven't heard anything else. I suspect if the person gets hospitalized, we will find out about it, just like we did with the case that was going on in Louisiana. And unfortunately, that Louisiana case did lead to a death, but you know, we're in different times now. That was before things got changed, so who knows what data the CDC will actually release on this case. Moving on now to Salt Lake City, where as many as 25,000 grebes were killed by bird flu within Great Salt Lake, Utah officials say. This is not good, and yes, bird flu, yes, H5N1 strikes yet again. Not a good past week or two for H5N1. Been finding out way too many different birds and things testing positive and unfortunately dying. All right, over in Morocco, they record its first 2 deaths from influenza A in 2025. Looks like it was a 69-year-old woman and a 35-year-old woman. They become the first fatalities in Morocco this year from influenza A, flu type A. Moving on now to this. Day of the Dead actor Anthony DeLeo Jr. has passed away. And guess what? Would you believe it? It's maybe hard to believe because we don't see many deaths nowadays, or even positive for COVID announcements that, you know, where it actually says COVID. In this case, it does say he passed away on Friday night due to complications from COVID. I have not seen where an actor or someone stated that. I have not seen where it was stated that's the cause of death in quite a long time from a celebrity or actor. And I'll make sure this gets into the archives over on my website. All right, this is rather concerning. Nearly 30% of cats Dogs owned by COVID patients had SARS-CoV-2 antibodies by 2021. Nearly 30% of cats and dogs belonging to COVID-infected patients in Central Texas tested positive for SARS-CoV-2 antibodies, signaling previous infection from 2020 to 2021, according to a study published yesterday. And this was actually put out on February 5th. We did not see this. We missed it. I just came across it this morning. I was searching and, oh, what's this? I'm like, well, that's not good whatsoever. And it says here, cats are more vulnerable to infection. Figure that one out. I mean, yeah, interesting. So if you have COVID in your household, maybe you're all positive and you have a pet, keep an eye on your pet's health. Maybe if you can, I don't know, this is just me saying this, try and do a COVID test on them. Or notice for symptoms like, are they wheezing? Are they sneezing? Do they look like they may be congested? See what happens. I mean, you might be surprised. A test may come up positive. I mean, 30% owned by by people who were positive for COVID through 2021 had antibodies. So who knew they could get it that easily? And we have seen cases where cats have tested positive. I believe, was it the Bronx Zoo had a case there? There have been random reports here and there where animals have had COVID. Of course, we know white-tailed deer have had COVID. In fact, there is actually a section down here, COVID in wildlife, although I put that in miscellaneous COVID studies. Who knows? Maybe I changed COVID in wildlife to COVID in animals, and that's where that would get moved to. I don't know. My website, datareport.info. You can find that study and the links to a whole bunch more studies. And, of course, the archives that I mentioned are down below as well. Yes, an archive of people who have had COVID. It's not a complete archive. I don't know if I'll ever get it complete, but it's a pretty expansive archive. You'd be surprised how many celebrities have had COVID, and some of them have gone on to have various different health problems. In Canada, the viral activity level for COVID is moderate. Flu A is high. Flu B is moderate, and RSV is high at this time. So we talked about Canada here. We talked about Morocco. A lot of people ask, I do get questions sometimes, can I include this country or that country? Unfortunately, I can only include countries I find data for. Hopefully, we may get something from New Zealand. They used to be, we would start our videos on Mondays with the update from New Zealand. It looks like maybe they come out on Tuesday. I was trying to find it today, and I did see an earlier update. Looked like it had updated on Tuesday, so I'll see if we can have something from New Zealand for tomorrow, and maybe Australia as well. All right, taking a look at what's going on with U.S. air qualities. I need to refresh this because every few minutes it goes blank. And wow, yeah, not too good. A little bit better in the West Coast. Still some bad air qualities, but just generally speaking, east of the Mississippi River, we find ourselves with a lot of yellow and orange sites once again for air quality, which is not a good thing, and we'll probably see this continue tomorrow. There's going to be a series of storm systems that come through a large portion of the country. The Mid-Atlantic is going to see some snow tomorrow. Back in the day, I would be posting a video about that on my other channel. We keep it to one video between these headaches and some of my other issues. It's just too much to do both channels. I would love to do both channels at once, but it really is just too much. Maybe at some point I will get back to that other channel because, I don't know. We'll see. In Pinellas County, Florida, we see not one, not two, not three, not four, but 5 sick person calls, breathing difficulty. Not terribly busy, but busy enough. And I do note this, elapsed time at hospital. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Ambulance. 5 of these calls are in the red, meaning extended period of time waiting to get a bed to discharge the patient from the ambulance into the hospital. That's not a good thing. All right, we have to talk about Philadelphia. Haven't mentioned it yet. Gonna mention it now. Philadelphia, 762 EMS incidents yesterday. That's actually low considering the fact of what has happened last night. The Philadelphia Eagles won the 2025 Super Bowl. Congratulations to the Eagles. If you were rooting for Kansas City, I'm going to admit it. I live in Philadelphia. I didn't really care which way it went, but part of me did want Andy Reid to get the three-peat. I mean, it is what it is. But anywho, hey, the Eagles won, and for all the people that rooted for the Eagles, including all my followers from right here in Philadelphia, congratulations to the Eagles. Well deserved. I think the city needed this, but unfortunately, there's going to be something that follows this. no matter what you think, there will at least be some sort of an increase in transmission of these viruses. Seems like this. If you did not see the news, if you did not, maybe, I don't know what they showed on national news. I didn't watch national news this morning. Yeah, this is what happened here after the Super Bowl last night. So this is our downtown section of Philadelphia. This is near City Hall. There were several streets, more streets than I have ever seen, filled to the brim with people. Scenes like this. Hundreds of thousands of people took to the streets. I mean, you got to include, not only did it happen in our downtown, the northeast section of the city has a well-known spot, Cottman and Frankfort Avenue. There may have been a couple other neighborhoods like Manayunk, Roxborough section of Philadelphia. The point is, a heck of a lot of people gathered together. I get it, outdoor transmission's not as high, but when you get this many people combined together, you're asking for trouble. So there definitely could be a rise, further rise in the increase of flu. There may be a resurgence in COVID, RSV, regular colds. Something's going to happen. I'd be shocked if there's absolutely nothing. The hospitals and ambulances have already been very busy. Last week was a bad week for ambulance calls, and it does not stop here. The celebration will resume once again on Friday with the Eagles Super Bowl parade. And the last time we had this in 2018, I believe there was over 1 million people. Will that happen this time? Honestly, I don't know. I would like to think the ones who get sick are responsible enough to not attend. Someone right now is getting ready to type down below or laugh at me talking about this, but you know what? It's real. When you get large gatherings of people together, it does cause super spreads of these viruses. I'll show you a little proof or potential proof of that with COVID when we get to Walgreens in just a moment. Yeah, something's brewing with Walgreens. All right, moving on now to what's going on in the suburbs outside of Philadelphia. Montgomery County, 19 EMS calls right now. I'm seeing respiratory difficulty. I'm also seeing in Abington Township, cardiac arrest is showing up. That's not good. That's the cream of the crop. That is a bad call. And as we all know, sometimes cardiac arrest calls turn into the coroner needs to be called. And surprised that it's Abington Township, because just a few minutes ago before I started this, somewhere, where was it? Pottsgrove? Somewhere else in Montgomery County, I was seeing cardiac arrest show up as well. Taking a look at Chester County. It's been very busy in Chester County today. We do see multiple strokes. That's not a good one. Stroke showing up multiple times. Sick person, respiratory difficulty. You know, the Monday after our big weekend usually is busy for ambulance calls. I have not been listening to Philadelphia. I'm sure it's busy here in my city of Philadelphia as well. All right, taking a look at what's going on with hospitals and starting to see a lot of yellow pop up again. Yet again, another very busy Monday for the hospitals. Not as busy as the previous Monday, but you know what? It's getting pretty close. Southeast Pennsylvania is doing really bad right now. And I really wish we could see what was going on in Philadelphia County with the hospitals. The way I find out what's going on, when I listen to dispatch, they sometimes say, such and such hospital is on divert until further notice, or whatever the case may be. And the hospitals here were already busy pre-Super Bowl, so not good. Take a look at this. A little bit better today in the Lehigh Valley portion of Pennsylvania. Yes, more green, less yellow. That's a good thing. Of course, it seems like almost every day we get a problem here with St. Luke's and Monroe County, Pennsylvania. Over in New Jersey, let me refresh this. In New Jersey, we do have a few hospitals dealing with patient volume. One is full, one is specialty. If I go down to the bottom, there's another one dealing with an issue as well. So not terrible in New Jersey. Not as bad as previous Mondays. All right. Taking a look at what's going on with Walgreens this week, and there are some surprises. About two, we'll say. And first off, any state that's in red or orange, they're seeing a rise. White did not update. Green, of any shade of green, means the positivity rate for COVID is dropping. Reminder, this is COVID positivity that we are taking a look at here. Here's the surprise. Look how many different red states there are. More than we would expect to see for this time of year. Remember, we're usually in that period where COVID is dropping from the winter wave, and we are usually heading towards our lull that we would get in the spring. Right now, we were dropping, but now we're starting to see some more states rise. The other surprise is the number of people that got tested. 11,274 people got tested. That's higher than the number of people we were seeing get tested during the winter holidays. So that is rather interesting. The national positivity rate is 10.2%. The prior week was 10%. That's actually up by 0.2%. And once again, 11,274 People took a COVID test at Walgreens. All right, let's try and click on some of these states. No guarantee that this is going to work. I've been having problems. If it goes around in circles, I do have one state that we could look at because I did a tweet earlier on this, and yeah, it doesn't look like it's going to come up. Apologies. Hopefully we can get this to work tomorrow. I've tried on multiple different browsers. But take a look at this. In Louisiana, this is not good. Remember, the Super Bowl was there. But anything from yesterday, the game itself, would not be reflected in this. Some stuff from last week, like, the people flocking down Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, all those festivities during the week. Some of that might be included in this. And remember, Louisiana is bigger than just New Orleans, but hey, the positivity rate there was 22.7%. The prior week was just 3.6%. Difference of 19.1%. Total test, 66 versus 55. So testing went up, and well, you can see here by the chart, there was a big increase in the positivity rate. Let's see, did we get any of those? Hey, we finally got to load. Kentucky's positivity rate, 11.3%. The prior week was 9.8%. And that's up by 1.5% with a big increase in testing. 293 tests versus 184. How about Florida? Let's try for another state. And I don't know. Will we be able to get Florida? It does not look like it. Okay, something's going on with the Walgreens site. Moving on now to this. New York State, 1,065 positive cases reported on their most recent update, and the number of people in hospitalizations continues to drop. 781 people in the hospital, 78 people in the ICU. Thought I would show you Boston real quickly on Wastewater scan, because we haven't looked at Boston in a little while. For COVID, Boston is dropping at this time. RSV is still high. COVID was medium, and RSV is dropping. Influenza A is still high, and, well, it's still rising quite a bit. Influenza B is actually starting to rise once again. They had dropped, and then somewhere around January 17th, that drop had stopped. Norovirus. Looks like there's a wonky movement, but maybe it is starting to peak there. And the reason why we didn't look at the national level, I will show you right here. There are some wonky movements starting to happen. So that kind of messes things up. Often is the case on Mondays with Wastewater Scan. All right, the latest variant of COVID in charge is XEC, which is at 43%. The next potential up incoming variant would be LP.8.1, which is now up to 20%. I think that is a potential candidate. Others think this as well, to potentially take over XEC at some point. Maybe something we have to look at as we get into March, as long as we still have that data. You know what? Let's skip over this because there is something we want to look at. I want to show you this map. There's a lot of colors on this map. We used to use it on Wastewater Sunday all the time. And taking a look here, we can see here, we see oranges, we see reds, we see blues. This is wastewater for COVID. So anywhere you see orange and red, that's not really a good thing. And we still see quite a bit of that through the Great Lakes into the Northeast. New York State does not have a lot of orange and red at this time. And again, this is the reason why. Let's go back for a second. I did want to show you something. Yeah, let's go back to this from yesterday. This is COVID. I'm going to show you here. And we're going to go to the state level of New York State. And remember, we saw the Northeast region as a whole was going up quickly, and that didn't make much sense. Well, when we take a look at New York State's going straight up, and that's messing up the regional view. And, well, when we take a look at this map, there's only a couple of sites reporting here. But when we go to this big national map that I have here, and we see, yes, there's a lot of sites that are not reporting. But we also see here there are many that are reporting. Now, there's some, yes, I'll give you that. There are quite a few in the red. But there's also probably more that are in the blue shade, which is lower levels of COVID. So that straight up that we're seeing there probably does not make a lot of sense. Moving on here, we can see here that Ohio, still a lot of orange and red. Some blue mixed in, not a lot. Taking a look at the West Coast, we do see in the Pacific Northwest a lot of blue at this time. A couple orange and red sites are showing up. I think just one red site, but there are a few orange sites. New Mexico and more so Arizona. I don't know what the deal is. Arizona has just been getting slammed with COVID for several months now, dating back to November, and we're still seeing a lot of orange and red sites. Let's click on some of these. This is really bad. Hey, at least they are dropping now. Maricopa County, that's 50,000 population. Here's 2.4 million population. Finally, it's dropping. I hope that continues to drop. California is not doing terrible, but some data does suggest that some parts of California are starting to rise somewhat. So that's something we'll have to keep our eyes on. There's Louisiana. We can see there are a few problems there. And we can also see Texas, not terrible. Some orange there. Oklahoma, you are seeing some red. That's never a good thing to see. Canadian, Oklahoma, that is rising at this point. And in the southeast, look at this. North Carolina, South Carolina, you're still getting hit pretty hard with COVID at this time. Hospital capacity, we're going to look at a few states here. First off, nationally, 77.3% of beds are occupied at this time. That's a high number, and someone's probably getting ready to type, yawn, that's always the issue. Okay, but still, that is a high number, and we do have some states that are definitely dealing with problems. And considering yesterday was the Super Bowl, let's just see. The curiosity's got the better of me. Let's see what is going on in Louisiana for hospital capacity. And guess what? Louisiana is not terrible at this time. 71.1% of beds are being used. Let's go up to the Northeast. Let's see what's going on for, how about Delaware? What's going on with the hospital capacity there? In Delaware, ooh, this is not good. 85.1% of all beds are being used at this time. That's not something I'd like to see. Colorado, what's going on there? Colorado usually is not too bad. Their hospital capacity, 65.2%. You're not doing too bad. What is going on in California at this time? Sometimes California can be bad. 79.4%. I consider anything over 80% bad. We actually used to list all the hospitals that are over 80%. Maybe one of these days I will go back to doing that. Illinois, you're at 74.9%. I would have thought that would have been worse, given the way the news stories are running there. Kentucky, you are at 70.5%. Let's go out to Arizona, shall we? Because we just talked about Arizona has been getting hit hard with COVID for a long time. 77.8% at this time. Let's go over to Washington State, shall we? And let's see what's going on with there. Here's Washington. And in Washington, whoa, 87.6% of all beds are being occupied at this time. 3.5% of that is for influenza. And while we're in the W's, we need to check on Wisconsin. Remember there was that report, Wisconsin's positivity rate for influenza was just through the roof? And overall, 79.2% of beds are being used. 5.4% of that is for influenza. In case you're wondering, 2.1% of that is for COVID-19 at this time. And last but not least, let's go south to Florida. We'll look at some more of these in a few days when we have, on a day we have not much to talk about, although we've gone 22 minutes. 82.2% of beds are being used in Florida. Not good because, you know, the snowbirds are down there right now. Alrighty, folks, that does it for the Monday edition of the Virus Update. We'll have another update again tomorrow. If you enjoyed this update, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe down below. Help me get to 10,000 subscribers this year. Share this video with anyone you know. Leave your comments down below, and don't forget to hit that notification bell. I will see you all again next time. Until I see you again next time, stay safe, everyone, and have a fantastic Monday afternoon. Thanks for watching.